Speaking of other expensive filing fees, Jon Grimes is here, who has filed for Salt Lake County District Attorney.
I think this is the granddaddy filing fees.
There you go.
Now, Andy told me the lunch was at noon, and I had 3 minutes.
No!
I'll wait. We won't be tight on that.
My name is Jon Grimes. I'm running for Salt Lake County District Attorney. I was in my office the other day with Sean Holland, who was here from the moment, and another gentleman. And we were talking about a case that I have we're working on. The conversation turned to talking about the country in general. And both Sean and this other gentleman had served in the military. They're talking about what it was that had encouraged them to enroll. It's not that they didn't have anything else to do. They had an idea in their mind of what this country is, what it meant to them. And so they chose to serve the country. And that got me to thinking in this conversation as to why it is that I wish to become a public servant. What is it about the country that makes me want to become engaged in that manner? And really, at the end of the day, when I think of our country and I think about what is good about our country, the number one thing that I think of is that America has a tradition of fighting for individual liberty that is not equal by any country. None of the other so-called Western democracies have the history of individual liberty that we do. Unfortunately, our government is over-anxious, as we have seen for a long time, to let individual liberty be sacrificed under the guise of either public safety or international security. But I ask, what is the point of being safe if we are not free? We know that the government doesn't overwhelm us with the intelligent manner that it passes and enforces law. I don't need to talk about the drug war here. I don't particularly need to talk about victimless crime, prostitution, things like that. But what has concerned me is I have paid attention very closely to the way that the district attorney's office is run and the way that it affects people is that the government is very, very unwilling to be open, very unwilling to be answerable. Not only does the government not defend liberty, but it has become perhaps the greatest source of liberty's erosion. Our esteemed current DA doesn't investigate police shootings, doesn't investigate tasings, but she will prosecute a gay guy who helped a neighbor's kid. She doesn't provide defendants with information to know what the hell they're charged with. But she does hire her husband's cast-off employees when he loses his contract in Taylorsville. I think that the role of the district attorney is to intelligently apply law, to get meaningful input from victims of crime, so that they can get meaningful redress. They should be made whole as much as is possible. However, I think most important is to make sure that we all can enjoy liberty and to enforce law, to bring government's power into the picture only when a person has unlawfully encroached upon the liberty of another person. And that is what I think is most important. And I thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, John. Is there a motion to nominate Jon Grimes as the party's candidate for Salt Lake County District Attorney? Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion to that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. And you are nominated, John. Thanks for running.